Let's talk about this dude from Texas. And usually, something bad's going to happen, but this is a good version of this. This is James Talarico. He is a state lawmaker in Texas, a Texas state house member. He's 36. He's a progressive Christian. He is a seminarian. He's in seminary. And this week, this guy was subject to the weirdest political hit piece I feel like I've read in a long, long time. And here's basically what the story is. Talarico is running for Senate, U.S. Senate. He wants to jump into the race to become the next senator from Texas. And that's great. Like, it would be there. It was exciting when Beto O'Rourke ran his campaign. He came up just short against Ted Cruz. A couple years ago, Colin Allred, was it a couple years ago at this point? I don't remember, but the former NFL star, Colin Allred, ran for Senate from Texas. He also came up short. And right now, Allred is back in the race to run next year. James Talarico has also jumped in. I think Beto O'Rourke might be thinking about jumping back in. But that means the reason Talarico jumping into the race is so interesting is because he doesn't fit the mold of a typical Democrat. This is a guy who can talk about religion fluently, which is an asset in Texas. He's like, I'm a Christian. I believe we should help people instead of whatever the hell Republicans are doing in Texas. He's also one of these guys who's willing to spend 3 hours talking to Joe Rogan. He can go on podcasts with the right-wing bros and just shoot the shit with them as long as he needs to. And they all walk away. The hosts walk away from those interviews thinking, I'm impressed with that guy. And that is a talent Democrats at that sort of level need to have these days, whether you like who they talk to or not. So anyway, the headline in Axios this week, last week, check this out. Faith forward Texas Senate candidate follows these adult actors and escorts on Instagram. Oh my God, he follows models on Instagram. What the hell is going on here? And here's the relevant part of it. And we'll go through this piece by piece, but check this out. And it's Axios, so they don't write stories. They just write bullet points. But let's go through this. According to Axios, and by the way, the author of this, I'll come back to this in a second. The author of this piece is Alex Thompson. Alex Thompson may be best known by progressive liberal Democrats and whatnot for co-authoring the Jake Tapper book that was all about how old Joe Biden was. And the thing is, yeah, Joe Biden was very old. However, have you seen the sort of crazy shit that Donald Trump does? Who cares about Biden's age? Look at the alternative. But Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson have been spending months and months talking about how old Joe Biden is. You remember I made videos about Lawrence Krauss writing about the war on science. It's like, yes, there really is a war on science right now with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talking about vaccines and autism and all that stuff. There is a war on science. Lawrence Krauss wrote a whole book about how, like, DEI is ruining science. It's like, what the hell are you people doing? The problem is all around you, and you're aiming way over there. So anyway, that's Alex Thompson. He's a guy who is a political commentator with a lot of credibility and clout in those circles, and yet his aim is completely off. So what did Alex Thompson write in this piece? Talarico follows 10 Instagram accounts of women who are popular adult stars, OnlyFans models, and have accounts on escort sites, according to publicly available accounts viewed by Axios in recent weeks, which basically means someone said, hey, have you checked out who Talarico follows? And someone at Axios was like, let me go through the list. And they kept a tally mark of who's hot. That's what happened. And they said, oh my God, let's look at the specifics. Earlier this year, he liked separate photos of some Instagram holder from Austin who also has an OnlyFans account and a page on a special site, a site that claims to be the #1 content management system in the industry. He liked her photos and were mad at him? Uh-huh. Those photos did not include nudes. Yeah, I'm sure they didn't. Why are we here? Talarico also follows Instagram accounts of some actors, adult actors, like one of them who has a lot of followers. Oh, why? Who cares? Some accounts with matching usernames of the Instagram accounts he follows appear on other sites, while several use OnlyFans. All of those accounts include provocative pictures and some link to their other sites with explicit content, but don't identify their holders as adult film performers. Why? What are we doing here? Let me tell you how this works. If you are in any way famous, there are people who are going to follow you on your account, and then depending on who you are, you may follow them back. If I were a politician who had aspirations of running for statewide office in Texas, where there are like 900 million people, give or take, you know what I want as I'm thinking about my future political career? If someone with a lot of followers who appears to be influential and popular, maybe they expressed some kind of support for me. Maybe they liked one of my videos. Maybe they said something nice to me. You know what I might want to do? I might want to follow them back. You know why? Because when I'm running for something big, it would be really nice to be able to go to that person and say, hey, I'm running for something big. Anything you can do to shout me out, to tell your followers to support me, I would appreciate it. It is not weird if politicians are following people with big accounts. It doesn't matter if they have an OnlyFans. Everyone has an OnlyFans. Like, who cares? If now, it's a different story if we have caught this guy in hypocrisy. What if he's secretly like having a tryst with one of them, and then publicly he's saying like, of course you should never do that? Well, that would be an interesting story. But that's not what happened here. That's the sort of thing Donald Trump did. And it would be a different story if James Talarico shared some of these models' pictures or videos on his account, but he didn't. You know who did do that? Ted Cruz famously shared an adult video on Twitter, or liked a video on Twitter. And he did that on the anniversary of 9/11 because, of course, he did, because he's Ted Cruz. All of that, if it was hypocrisy, if it was something crossing the line, okay, we can have a discussion about how newsworthy that is. Following some accounts is not a story. Utterly stupid that they thought this would have, like, this would do this guy in. And look at what his campaign said responding to all this. James has never subscribed to OnlyFans or an escort service, according to his campaign spokesperson. While James was unaware of how these women make money, he does not judge them for it and will not play into an effort to smear them for clickbait articles. That's exactly what his Christian faith calls him to do. Great response. The campaign said Talarico has messaged with only one of the accounts and shared a screenshot of the exchange. And that is interesting. So okay, now he has messaged with one of the hotties. And Politico, here's Alex Thompson online. Let me go here. The campaign said he messaged with one of the accounts and shared a screenshot of it. Well, let's look at this exchange, shall we? Here is the model. Okay, what happened? She mentioned Talarico in her story, so she was sharing something. She gave him a shout out. It's old. It's over like a year old, so it's not available anymore. And what did he reply? Thank you, Alice. And she responded with the heart, and she said, thank you. Really appreciate your work. It heartens me to see there are politicians like you. And that's the end of the conversation. That's it. And when I saw that, I'm like, this Alex Thompson seriously got that screenshot. And he's like, you guys, I did it. I got proof. He's messaging with these models. And that was the message. These people have no idea what a real political story is. By the way, if that name is familiar to any of you at all, maybe that's because Alice Gretchen is a model and actress, yes, who also a couple of years ago wrote a book. I will share this with you right here. She wrote a book called Wayward, a memoir of spiritual warfare and sexual purity. She wrote an entire book about how she grew up in the evangelical purity culture, how it messed her up for a long time, and how she finally broke out of it. And by the way, this was all happening as she was becoming an actress on various TV shows and whatever parts she could get. In fact, if you go through my YouTube channel right now and search for her name, you will find an interview I did with her a couple of years ago promoting that book, because it really was a good book. She was delightful. And it doesn't surprise me one bit that she would have posted something about James Talarico and said, I like what you're doing. You're awesome. Keep it up. By the way, after I saw that screenshot, that dumb screenshot, I messaged Alice and I'm like, hi, it's been a while since we've chatted. Have you seen any of this? Your name has been invoked. And I asked Alice, what do you think about all this now that you've seen what this story is about? And let me share with you what she told me. This is the first I'm hearing of this article. I can confirm that Instagram DM exchange. I had shared one of Talarico's reels where he deftly used the Bible to show how certain Texas politicians were being unbiblical and anti-American in their efforts to mandate the Ten Commandments being displayed in public schools. His inclusion of atheists amid the compassion he expressed while wondering how non-Christians might feel in such classrooms stood out to me. Talarico has consistently stood out to me for his inclusiveness, courage, and conviction. To my knowledge, he's never been a subscriber of mine on OnlyFans. As to these scandal-seeking headlines about Talarico following prostitutes, I have 3 words. Jesus followed prostitutes. You could tell that she's a good writer right there, but I appreciated that. But again, no kidding. Everything she said is spot on. If the people you interact with on social media or even follow are liabilities, I promise you damn near anyone who has a sizable following could be dragged under for the fake crime of a follow. Also, I find it hilarious that this is what a progressive Christian sex scandal looks like. We are in a news cycle right now where Donald Trump is spending all this time with Jeffrey Epstein and everyone's learning a lot of details about it. And James Talarico once said thanks to someone who's hot. So, both sides. It's just the dumbest story. I think one of the reasons Republicans... so this raises an interesting question. Why would Axios publish this story? Who is telling them this is a story? There are theories out there. Was it a Republican campaign trying to screw over James Talarico? Even more conspiratorially, was it one of the other Democrats who's very nervous about Talarico saying, hey, Axios, look who he follows on Instagram? I don't know what the answer is, but I think one of the reasons everyone seems to be nervous is, again, Talarico is very good at using the language of Christianity to call out Christian nationalism and Christian hypocrisy. And the first time I heard of this guy was a couple of years ago because Texas Republicans were trying to pass a law to put the Ten Commandments in public schools. And he basically called out the fact that, hey, we're supposed to rest on the Sabbath according to the commandments in the bill, and yet this legislature meets on a Sunday. What up with that? Like, he just called out one hypocrisy after another. If you're not supposed to, sleep with your neighbor's wife or sleep with another person, well, what's the Republican leader doing? If you're not supposed to murder, why are we in Texas supportive of the death penalty? Like, that's what he would do. And by the way, that bill did not pass. This past year, a similar bill did pass, but he didn't let up. In fact, when he was questioning the sponsor of this year's bill, he just straight up asked her, "What's the fourth commandment?" And she just paused for a really long time. And you could see in video, her aide is like looking through a booklet trying to find the answer. Because again, that's what Talarico is very good at. Here's something else I want to show you, and then I'll be done here. This is a poll that just came out last week. And I don't know if Impact Research was doing this on Talarico's behalf or not, but this was interesting. Look at this item right here. Talarico for the Democratic primary. When you interview Democratic primary voters in Texas, Talarico now leads Colin Allred by 6 points. He's jumped 36 points since August. Talarico is on the rise right now. And Talarico also leads Allred by 47 points among those familiar with both candidates. Talarico is the new Instagram hottie. His fundraising is amazing. His numbers look great. The more people hear this guy talk, he's very much like Zoran Mamdani in that sense. The more you watch the guy, the more you listen to him, the more you are inspired and you want to drop what you're doing and go work for this guy. So that's what Talarico is good at. His fundraising numbers are impeccable right now. He's getting so much support from so many people. That's why he's making people nervous. Because imagine for a second a very realistic scenario for next year. If Talarico wins the Democratic primary for Senate, there is a chance that the Republican primary could be won by the Attorney General Ken Paxton, who is a walking encyclopedia of scandals. He is so controversial even among Republicans that Republicans in the legislature tried to impeach him. He's one of their guys. They tried to impeach him. Republicans who have no integrity whatsoever were like, this guy is making all of us look bad. They didn't have all the votes to do it, but they tried. Imagine if you have a battle between Talarico and someone like Paxton. That could be the sort of race where Texas swings blue. And that would be a sea change for the country. I liked what Tim Miller of the Bulwark said about all this. Wow, finally a straight Democratic man who can go on Joe Rogan and likes hot women. That's what this scandal is all about. I think this is why the threat of a not weird white Christian who can comfortably talk about his religion without using it as a weapon against the marginalized is a real threat for a lot of people. They don't know how to fight someone like him. They don't. They're so used to calling people, atheists, communists, whatever. And this guy is like a really, I mean this in the best way possible. He sounds like a really boring Christian. And that is an awesome thing. I'm fine with that right now. You know what I mean? Anyway, this article in Axios, not journalism. It's just a hit piece. Cynical ploy to try to take down a candidate who scares all the right people. It was a nothing burger. I will leave it at that. What questions do we have here? They really aren't good at doing scandals. Who are we talking about? Progressive Christians, I assume? Probably. But yeah, like, hey, Talarico, get some game here. Come on, give me something fun to talk about. This is boring. Get some good scandals. By the way, I did try to reach out to Talarico months ago, maybe a while ago, to try to do an interview, and he did not respond to me. And I still want to talk to this dude. So if somehow he sees this video, James, let's do an interview. I want to talk to you. I love you. Can anyone tell me where Axios is on the political spectrum? Ooh, that's a good question. They will, I believe, go all over the place. Their thing is like breaking news. You follow them because you want to know what's happening, and it's not necessarily an op-ed place. But as you can tell from this article, they'll post anything. I don't know. I've seen some things from Axios that were like useful and important, and then other things like this where it's just trash. I got a pretty large YouTube page. I also follow atheist content And I also have a lot of religious people that follow me. Who cares? Yes, I have a lot of social media followers. I don't know who all of them are. I follow some people. By the way, among the people I follow, there are plenty of people I actively despise on X/Twitter. I follow them because I want to know what they're up to. On Facebook, I follow a lot of people I just want to keep tabs on. There, I don't follow people I like. I need to keep tabs on my enemies. That's what social media is for. So, like, don't judge us by who we follow. We have our reasons. Talarico's response was basically sex workers are constituents too. And and again, we could have a different conversation about who the hell cares even if he is following them. That's a whole separate discussion. But the point is, like, yeah, what are you mad about? That he follows people who are also popular? That's what popular people do. Back in the day when Twitter had check marks for verified users, if someone who was verified followed you, it might be to your advantage to follow them back. I mean, I've been watching your videos to help deconstruct from Christian nationalism. Thank you for standing up for religious freedom. That means a lot. Thank you for watching the videos, and I genuinely hope these videos helped in any way. But good for you for deconstructing from Christian nationalism.